smiling at Bishop.
This is Keeping Up the
Always
Conversation,
smiling.
an unscripted podcast. And now, here's your hosts, Tori and Big Ken. Follow Keeping Up the Conversation on Facebook at KUTC Live.
Welcome to the first episode of Keeping Up the Conversation. I am your host, Tori. I am joined by my co-host, Big Ken. What's going
Yeah.
on?
What's up?
And
What's up?
of course, you can see Michael Bishop down there, kind of hanging out with us for a minute. Thank you for joining us. Well, first, Ken, what I want to do is sort of just introduce us so, the audience can sit back, relax, get comfortable, and learn more about us and what we have going on.
Okay. Well, ladies first. Ladies first.
As always, as always. All right, so I am the mother of three beautiful boys and the wife of a very lovely and amazing husband. I'm also the editor in chief of Black Line Magazine. I think that's where most of you guys know me from. I've been doing entertainment for many years now, starting a technology company last year. So I am working on getting my first app out. It's in beta testing right now. And now I'm here with Ken, doing the damn thing.
Well, isn't she amazing, people? I'm not that much amazing, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a regular dude. I'm a husband. I got some kids and stuff, some grown kids. But my passion is this podcast lane. So I have a couple other podcasts. I got You See It Live with Big Ken, do a little comedy, a little commentary. And I got the Fire Session podcast where we talk about just whatever was going on in the world, regular relationship topics, the good stuff. And then we have Keeping Up the Conversation, in which you're here
Yes,
right now.
yes, yes,
So this is
yes.
something new we're trying to bring to y'all with a little different flavor. So y'all tune in every Wednesday at 7, and we're gonna have fun. I guarantee you.
All right, all right. So, I think the flow of the show, where we kind of have it, is where we first talk about hot topics, what's trending, and that kind of brings us to why we have Michael Bishop joining us. Michael is a former New England Patriots, and he is the K-State Hall of Fame QB. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So,
ma'am. Glad you guys gave him an opportunity to come on.
yeah, yeah. So, so speaking of the fact that we are talking about hot topic and what's trending, I know I spoke with you yesterday, Michael, just about, something that I heard on Sunday, and it's the NFL, announcing the National Coming Out Day on October 11th, where they are celebrating or they're featuring gay and bisexual athletes, and just encouraging them to just acknowledge. And I want to kind of get your opinion, your advice on that.
Well, for me, you know, I welcome it all. I think if you can run, catch, tackle, you know, celebrate, whatever you can do on the field, it doesn't matter, what you do away from the game. I think, and I speak for, hopefully all athletes or former athletes, as long as I can depend on you to be where you're supposed to be at and do the right thing, it doesn't matter to me how you live your life. And I think that, there's a lot more that play professional sports that, haven't come out yet. But at the same time, the ones that come out, they're starting to come out of the shell. But like I say, as long as you can line up and do your job, for me, it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people don't feel the same way. But
And we lost Bishop.
you know, even though we get judged 24/7, but at the same time, hey, if you can play regardless of what you do.
Right. So I know, Bishop, you were in the league for a while. You also played in Canada. And anytime that while you were playing, did you know any of the players who were gay or who were bisexual?
Well, I say it like this, and I think every athletic event, you may want to call it, there's always somebody. you've heard it before, heard it 1,000 times. There's always somebody in the locker room. So whether they come out and whether you know it, but I think some players, they know who those guys are or who those women are. But at the same time, you're there to win games. So you don't really get caught up in that, he said, she said, but And I think, there's, it's a new world now, man. There's so much going on. There's so many, great athletes, that live different lives. And like I said, at the end of the day, if you can make a play, come on, let's make a play.
Mhm. But even although you may or you may not have known that there were players that were gay or that were bisexual, if you had known when you were in the locker room, would it have made a difference? Like, for example, would it feel different in the locker room when you had to take a shower if you knew of a player by name that was gay or bisexual?
Well, for me personally, I'm confident in who I am and what I stand for. But that adds more fire to it. If you know, you don't actually just go into the shower, looking to see who's looking at each other. But I'm sure people that live their lives, they peak. So
Mhm.
as an athlete, there's boundaries, and if you choose to live that life, then you have to know the boundary. And for the most part, there's all kind of jokes in the locker room. So people, you become family like inside the locker room. So a lot of times they keep it hush, but at the same time, who's living that other life.
Mhm.
I believe
You know, and
who's living that other life.
and you just spoke about the NFL being family, and I want to read something from the NFL executive vice president Troy Vincent, and he said, reflecting on his own experience as an NFL player, there has never been a single active player that has come out. While I'm sure I've played with LGBTQ players, highly skilled, athletic, and effective at their jobs, they did not come out, but they were my teammates and part of the larger family. Now, I know that football players are looked at as tough, and they're looked at, hell, I mean, like, superhuman. And would would the view be different? Like, would that player still be considered weak, although that you and that player are there to do a job? Would you look at that player different, or would you look at him as him being weak?
Well, me personally, I wouldn't look at him as being weak because you're showing me all kind of strong points on the field. You're showing me that you're a beast. You're showing me that you're a warrior. You're showing me that whatever it takes, you're willing to do it. Now, 4 or 5 hours after the game, then you're doing your thing. That's on your own accord. But as long as you with me for 60 minutes, or if you're with me for 4 quarters, or if you're with me on basketball, baseball, whatever, track and field, whatever it may be, as long as you with me in that moment, then I'm fine. What you do off the field, I would say be careful, have fun, but when you step into this locker room, we're all about business.
That's right. So, and I guess, on talking about being on the field, a football player, if and it's just, I hate to keep harping on it, but this is just, to me, it's just a bold move that the NFL is making. They had a public service announcement that came out on Sunday, and
Mhm.
as a former quarterback, if you knew that that player was gay, or whatever his sexuality is other than heterosexual, and he made a mistake on a football field, do you think that the players would blame his sexuality on that? Or do you think they would think, oh yeah, he's weak, if he wasn't this way, then he probably would have, been able to handle his business?
Well, I think on a professional level, professionalism, work ethic, knowing your job. I don't think that players would say that they're weak because of that. I say, for instance, just think about it, this situation. If I'm a quarterback and I find out that my center is bisexual, so during the course of a game, my hands have to go on his butt, you know, 75% of the game. So if I get the news that he's bisexual, now I may think, well, you know what, he's loving it every time I touch him to get the ball. Now there's a
Hmm.
whole different perspective. But I know I got to touch his butt to get this ball. So I got to
Hmm.
still do my job and still be able to be professional about it. But at a certain point, it may come up and say, "Hey, man, look, you know what? I understand that's your lifestyle, but I have a job to do. I got to get the ball from you. So don't think that I'm, getting too comfortable with doing this. But this is my job, so I have to do it. So man, that's a tough one right there. I didn't
Yeah,
even
it
think
is.
about it in that way, but just I mean, I can only imagine. I can only imagine right now. Let's just say that Deshaun Watson center may feel a certain type of way, or may live a different lifestyle, and all of a sudden it comes out. Now you go into the game with all kind of thoughts in your mind, other than the game plan and beating the Cowboys or whoever you may play that weekend. So like I said, this is a tough one, but at the
Hmm.
same time, you know you get paid to do a job. You come
Yeah.
out and you do your job, and then when
Hmm.
when you walk out of the locker room, go light it up. But when you're inside this locker room and when you're on the field with me, I need you to be the Mandingo warrior. I
Right.
need you
Right.
to come up and do your job. But like I
Hmm.
said, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's real tough because nowadays you never know. You never know until it
Right.
comes out,
Until it comes
and
out.
then
Exactly.
and then when it comes out, you be like, man, I've been your teammate for 6 years. I never
Hmm.
seen that part of you, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, I've been giving y'all hints. Well, no, you ain't gave me no hint. I ain't. I didn't see that. I
Right.
missed that hint.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it can be tough, but at the same token, when you're playing a team sport, you got to accept everything that comes with that team sport. You got to be that guy where if you got to be the glue. A lot of times the quarterback is the glue to the organization, or glue to whatever goal you have in mind. So it's tough, but
Hmm.
in the world we live in today, it wouldn't surprise me. There's so many things that can distract you from your common goal. But
Hmm.
you got to dig deep down inside and say, this is something that I really want to do, because I got to accept everything that comes with it. And
Hmm.
you know that's part of it now. It's almost becoming a normal thing to have one or two, maybe three. They live a different lifestyle, but they are ballers. And
Hmm.
I can say the
Right.
same thing about the NBA. You got guys in there that will dunk on you in a minute, and then
Hmm.
will hold hands with the same, with another
With
male when they
with the
walk
dude.
out of there.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's tough, but if you to the players that live that lifestyle, my thing is, as long as you're happy and you're doing what you feel you need to do, because you got one life and you need to live that life to the fullest. If it's revolving on you being with the same sex, then hey, go be the best at it. But
Yeah.
understand my lifestyle, and
Mhm.
although I I don't, I can't say I have a problem with it, because I have some people like that in my family. So
Mhm.
I don't think I have a problem with it. But long as you don't try to introduce me to it, then we're
Right.
fine. But
Right.
if you're my
Respect.
teammate, yeah,
Yeah.
respect, and you're my teammate, give me everything you got on this field. And then when this game is over, go do it. Go have fun.
Well, thank you so much, Bishop. I know that we are going to have a full interview with you in December, and I'm totally looking forward to that. So, thank you so much for your time and your opinion
Yes,
on
ma'am.
this subject. We'll talk to you
Yes,
soon.
ma'am.
Thanks
Can't wait.
again.
I can't. Yes, ma'am. Can't wait to December.
That's right. We're going to do it. All right. Bye, Bishop. All right. So, Ken, I just want to touch on this real quick. As a fan of football, it's hard for a woman to kind of look, in my opinion, to look either way on that subject. I mean, it is what it is. But as a man and a fan and a football fan, what do you think? What's your opinion on that?
I'm one of those type of people where I feel like a job is a job, right? When I go to work every day, I'm not worried about the other person's sexual orientation or whatever they got going on in their personal life. As long as you can do your job while we're at work, then I have no concerns. You're a human being. We're going to function the same. We're going to get the job done and we're going to move forward. Now, to address some of the stuff that, like Mike was saying, they're in a little different scenario where they're in close quarters, where they shower together and things of that nature. But I think that, that they might have a different outlook. But I know as far as, I'm saying, just the on the surface of it, we just got to learn how to just go about our job, you know what I'm saying, and just do what we came to do, and then let the stuff that people do in their personal lives stay in their personal lives.
Right,
Separate the
exactly.
two, you know, your professional life and
Exactly.
your personal life need to be separate.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Do your job when it's time to do your job. When it's personal stuff, handle your business away from the job. So, all
That's right.
right. So, what's going on? What's next? You
What we
know,
got up next is the business spotlight.
All right. So, the business spotlight, what I want to say about that is that every week we are going to spotlight a business, a small business. Let me see what we have here. So, we're going to spotlight a small business. On KUTC Live. And so if you are interested in having your business in the spotlight on KUTC Live every Wednesday, go to facebook.com/KUTC Live and go to the About section, fill out the little form, tell us a little bit about your business, and we will get you on the show if you fit. So next week we will have our first business spotlight. So we're looking forward to talking to that business next Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am. And then next up we have our special guest has joined us. He's in the waiting room. He's waiting for his introduction so he can enter the stage.
All right, do what you do.
Well, my people, we got an extraordinary man here today. He's come from extraordinary circumstances and a background. I'm not going to go too deep into it because it'll steal away from the story that he has to tell you in the details. But let me tell you, it's nothing regular or, basic about this guy. We got Paul Lamar Hunter joining us today. Now, he wrote a book. The book is No Love, No Charity. He is the 19th of 21 children. 19th of 21 children. Mother had them
Wow.
natural birth. So she's a strong woman.
Yeah, very strong, very strong.
So we want to bring Paul on and let him tell his story and let him take you on this journey of his life. Paul Lamar Hunter, people.
All right, welcome to the show, Paul. You got to turn your mic on. I don't think your mic is on. Your mic's not on. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
There we go.
Now, do
There
you
you go. Yes, we can hear you.
great? Thanks for having me on this Wednesday
Oh,
night, and I'm just excited to share a positive story to give men and women around the world hope.
oh yeah. We have been waiting to talk to you. I know the first time we not necessarily talk, but you reached out to me. I reached back, and it took us a while to get you. And now we are here, and we are so ready to hear your story. But it's kind of like before you came into the room, like Big Ken mentioned. You were 19 of 21 kids, but I kind of want to give a viewers an idea of the family that size. But you correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, okay? So there are 20 brothers and sisters. There were 21, but you had a brother that passed away. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
There are 17 of us living today.
Mhm. Okay, and between all of you, there are 63 grandchildren. No, 63 grandchildren, 86 great grandchildren, and like Big Ken said, your mother birthed these kids naturally.
Oh, yes, yes, she did. She birthed 21 children by my dad, 63 grandchildren living
Oh
today,
my goodness.
and 87 great
Oh, 80,
grandchildren
oh,
alive
87.
today. So, yes, it is. This family, the Hunter family, is continuing to grow and expand the Hunter lineage.
Oh, so wow. Who has the most kids out of all of you guys? Like, how many are there?
I think my brother Patrick have 7, and my sister Celeste has 7. So
Okay.
majority of us has 4, 5, 6. Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
but like I stated, my mom and dad been together for a long time. My dad, he passed away when I was 8 years old. My mom just recently passed away on
Oh.
December 29th of 2020 this year. She made that transition. So she lived 85 good, healthy years. And so I was just blessed to be a part of the Hunter family.
Mhm. Now, before we get, before we get, into the life, and I know I know you wrote a book and everything, but me, I like to ask, not too much, not too personal questions, but hey, I have to ask this because curious minds want to know, with 20, 21 brothers and sisters, there is this element of privacy. So you got to tell me, what was it like when it came time to you for you guys to like start dating? What was that like?
Well, to be honest, I did not start dating until I was 16 years old, but
Mhm.
because I was the 19th child. And so a lot of my older siblings, they tried to um, conceal or what you want to do. They didn't want us to get involved in a relationship. But I saw a lot of my brothers and sisters at the age of 16, 17, and 18 years old get
Mhm.
involved into a relationship. But the younger ones, like myself, they try to protect us, and so
Mhm.
which was a good thing, because we're young and we don't know anything better. But their job was to protect us, and they did a good job of protecting us.
Now, what about like, you know, growing growing up? So, there were 21 of you guys. So growing up, what was the household like? What was there struggle? What was that like?
It was a struggle and it was chaos as well. But like I stated, my father died when I was 8 years old. So my older siblings had to look out for us. They made sure that we were on the bus. The young ones was on the bus to go to school. They made sure that they was there to pick us up when we got off that bus, walked us home, made sure that we was fed, made sure that we did our homework, and also made sure that we did chores around the house. And also, my mother made sure that those chores was done as well. So my siblings and my older siblings and my mom played an instrumental role in developing faith, love, happiness, character, and also belief in our lives that we can go and reach for the stars and do anything that we want if we put our minds to it. So
Mhm.
yes, I came from a dysfunctional family, and we managed to survive. We were poor, but one thing I can say with confidence, it was people in the community of Racine, Wisconsin, that always showed up at our doors, especially during Thanksgiving and Christmas time,
Mhm.
just to drop off a Christmas tree, just to drop off food, just to drop off clothes, just to drop off toys when we were less fortunate. And that's the reason why I'm very grateful for the people in the city of Racine, Wisconsin, that always gave a helping hand to the Hunter family.
Speaking of, the community helping you guys, I know that, with 21 kids, it had to be a community effort. So were the holidays the hardest, especially with your father passing away when you were 8 years old, and that had to be another struggle. So were the holidays the hardest, or was it just kind of get by day?
Just trying to get by day. And the holidays was very difficult because, like I said, my father died when I was 8 years old. And so you remember the time when dad used to work two jobs and provide for the whole family. And Christmas time wasn't a struggle when he was alive. And so,
Mhm.
but like I said, the community looked out for us, and we managed to get through with positive men and women, and also people from the church. The church plays a significant role in developing our whole community
Mhm.
and developing faith into men and women around the world. So I give a lot of thanks to the churches, because they did a tremendous job. They had a lot of men and women that were over at our house praying with us and being good mentors to the Hunter family children and also to my mom.
Now I know, in spite of the struggle, in spite of the dysfunction, the community helping you guys coming together as a family and working through it all, of all the kids, you were the only one who went on to graduate from college. You also wrote a book called, um, what was your book called? No
No
Love, No
love,
Charity.
no charity.
Right.
Yes, yes. I am the first out of my whole entire family. I looked at my family lineage and what I had discovered that no one on my father's side or my mother's side actually graduated from college. They attended college, but they never completed it. So I took it upon myself to make history in the Hunter family, which I did in 2012. I became the first Hunter family to graduate with a bachelor's of science in business administration from Upper Iowa University. And I am so blessed to have that degree because that degree has opened up doors for me and it had allowed me to go out to the Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers and Sisters, different organizations, and share a positive story of hope to let people know that you cannot let your circumstances dictate your future. And I also let them know that they always keep their purpose above their circumstances. So while I was in college, I also wrote a book, No Love, No Charity, The Success of the 19th Child, which chronicles my life of this journey of struggling academically, struggling financially, and struggling with parenthood myself. But I let people know in the book that the end is always better than the beginning. So if you looked at where I come from and looked at where I came now, you would say, man, that end is better than the beginning. So this is a touching book. It's a parenting book. It is a book that will impact people's lives all around the world. That's why I tell people to go out and get the book. Matter of fact, this book has just been adapted into a screenplay. So one day you're gonna see this book converted into a movie.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's what I had heard, that it was a few years ago, that it was going to be adapted into a screenplay or a movie. Where does that stand right now?
Well, we are in the process right now of pitching it at this moment. We have been pitching it for the last year or so. So it will happen, and it's just going to take a little time of negotiating and making sure that our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. So
Mhm.
you got to be very
Yeah.
patient and you got to be very, very careful.
Yeah, now Ken, now I know, you know me, I love to talk, I love to interview, and I know I can monopolize a conversation. So, I want to make sure, because we were looking forward to this interview. So I want to make sure that you ask those questions that you wanted to ask, before I really dig deep into Paul.
Yeah, I just had my first question was everybody has that when you do something special like the book that you wrote, it's like an aha moment. Like what was your initial inspiration? Like what was your aha moment that inspired you to write this book about your journey?
Well, just going back and finding out history from my mom, also from my siblings and relatives that, back in the past, because, my mom grew up in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And I wanted to know, have anybody ever completed college, graduated college, and learning that they had the opportunity, they went, but they never completed. So
Mm,
my aha moment was learning the history of the Hunter family, and then I was like, oh, okay, so I could become the first in the Hunter
mhm,
family to lay the foundation. And if I lay the foundation, others will follow. And you know what? I laid the foundation. Now my nieces and nephews, cousins and relatives,
mhm.
some of them had graduated college, all because I had laid the foundation. And all it takes is one person. All it takes is one person to jump. All it takes is one person to say, you know what? I don't care what happened in the past, but I'm going into the future and I'm going to make history. And that's basically what I did. I made history.
So your degree, it was bigger than going to class. It was bigger than a piece of paper. It stood for something bigger than what we know. It was family. It was setting precedents. It was, you being the blueprint for what success really, really is.
Yes, yes, yes. You absolutely right. I was the blueprint. I laid the foundation. I took the initiative, and that's the reason why my book is a game changer. That's the reason why this book gives people hope. Even my story gives people hope that graduate. Um, you can graduate from college at different phases of your life. I graduated at the age of 42 years old, and I
Oh,
remember people
wow.
telling me that I was too old, and I remember a friend telling me, "You're never too old to learn."
Yeah.
So I took it, and I said to myself, "You're never too old to graduate." So, and I'm just taking advantage of opportunities that I have, and
Mhm.
will continue to take advantage of opportunities.
Now, Ken, before we move on, you know, are there any questions that the guest have or the audience has for
No,
Paul?
no, not right
Okay.
now.
All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So Paul, you talk about experiencing poverty, neglect, and dysfunction, and just being an unlikely candidate to be successful. But here you are. What inspiration do you want to leave to those that feel that their struggle today is just way too much for them to carry?
I think that a lot of people, they're struggling right now. But I always believe that people need to get involved into the church so that way they can. The church, is instrumental, but it builds a strong family foundation, and also you have leaders in there that have extreme confidence that can, rub off you, and your confidence can go to a totally different level. And also you have people that's in behind the eight ball that can share their story that can impact your life, and then you out in society, and you reaching for the stars because their story have impacted your life. And so, success for me did not happen overnight, and I tell that to young people all the time. Success is you have to build, you have to lead, and you have to impact. And so success didn't happen overnight, but when you look at it, you will think that success happened overnight,
Right.
but it did not. It takes time.
Hmm.
It takes time.
Hmm.
It really does take time.
Hmm. Paul, you are a rock of motivation, inspiration, and encouragement, and living proof that no matter the adversity, you can rise above it all. So, for more information on Paul's book, go to paullamarhunter.com. And Paul, I want to thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And you are a true, true inspiration, not only for me, for us all and everyone that's watching today.
But before we let Paul go,
Okay.
Paul doesn't know this is our first show.
Yeah.
But Paul doesn't know me. So I'm a
Yeah.
quirky guy. I think of some off the wall stuff. So before we let Paul get out of
Oh,
here,
okay. Hey,
I got
hit
a
him with it.
question for Paul, right? Okay, I think of off the wall stuff.
Okay.
Now, it was 21 children in the house, right? Now, imagine this. In this day and time in 2020, pandemic, you have
Oh
21
Lord.
kids. How do you even think that you could even deal with that? You got 21 kids to get on Zoom. You got 21 kids to get masks for when you go out. You got 21 kids to get prepped for. You got 21 kids to detoxify when they get back in the house. Like how do you like how does that look in 2020?
I tell you what, it would not be any social distancing in the Hunter house because we were all running around and just getting into stuff. And you know, I thank God that we weren't born in this generation, you know, but
Right.
we were born in the 60s and the 70s in the 80s. So I thank God for that. But this is a totally different generation, you know, and dealing with this pandemic, I don't think we would have been ready for it, you know,
Right.
especially with social media. And it's just bizarre right now to see what is going on. But I think that with a strong family values and my mother being strong, you know, spiritually, I think we would have did extremely well.
Yeah, because like I said, this is unprecedented times, man,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's a lot to deal with. And I see people that have maybe one or two kids, like, oh my God, I can't deal with these kids. I don't know how to navigate this with with my kids. I'm like, but you only got two.
You
There's
know what?
people out here with a lot of kids.
That is so true. I have three, however, they're older, but I do have one little one. And we went to the store and he was like, "Oh, I want this mask." I'm like, "Oh my God, why can't you have this one?" But I want this one because the rubber won't break on it. And so I cannot imagine doing that with 2021 kids. No, everybody would have a sheet wrapped around their head because that's just too much.
Yeah, I think that's another question I had too.
You know what?
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I have four children myself, four adults, and I also have one granddaughter. But it's totally different dealing with this pandemic, you know. And I'm glad they are out of the house, you know, and have their own lives now. You know, it's convenient for me, you know.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's what I was just about to ask about your own children and how you were dealing with the pandemic as far as that goes. Like I said,
Right.
'cause everybody's dealing with it differently. Some people are having difficulty, some people are navigating it smoothly. But like I said, your story is just super inspirational, man.
Mhm.
And like Tori said, I mean, you're inspiring people without even knowing it on a daily basis. I'm pretty
That's
sure
right.
there are people who are scouring YouTube or scouring the internet and stumbling across your book and being inspired by your story, and you don't even know it. So we
Mhm.
appreciate you putting pen to paper
Mhm.
and getting your journey out there, man, because it's super inspiring now, and we appreciate
Oh
appreciate
yeah.
you
Yeah.
taking
Mhm.
time out of your busy schedule to do this.
Mhm. Truly applaud your
Yeah,
efforts.
you know, and I thank you guys for having me on as this is your first show, and I thank you for having me on. That lets me know that I'm very important. I'm number one, so I'm
Yes.
happy for that.
Hey, shout it to the mountaintop. Yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Paul, for joining us, and we wish you continued success.
All right, thank you for having me on.
Thank you. All
I
right,
mean,
Paul Lamar
I
Hunter.
mean, yeah, Ken, 21 brothers and sisters, I don't know what it would have been like in that time. I'm a 70s baby, and I have three brothers and sisters, and you know things weren't always good. Um, and things weren't always bad. But one thing that we did, one thing that we did do is, we argued a lot, and I can't imagine what it was like in the midst of an argument with 21 kids.
Yeah,
We're
that's Yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces, but call me crazy, but my mom can tell you when I was younger, I was that kid that would watch shows like the Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, and all those shows. Yeah, I'm that old people. And I was inspired by large families because I used to tell my mom I wanted like 10 kids. 10.
Oh no, no,
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I mean, hey, and she was one to tell me, whatever the Lord would provide you with, whatever the Lord, if He provides you with that many kids, He'll provide you what it takes to take care of them.
Mhm.
So He only gave me three, and that's the
Mhm.
amount of money that
That
I
was
have.
enough.
So it lined up.
That was enough. It's funny. I have a friend and she has 7 kids, and I remember this was years ago, and I remember asking her, having 7 kids, that's just way too many kids. I don't even know how you do it. And she's always saying, well, God will never give you more than you can bear. And I'm like, that's too much. And so I guess that's like you said. I guess that's why He didn't give me 7.
Yeah,
He gave her
yeah,
7 because He knew she could handle it better than I could. So,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
hey, I don't have a problem with 7. I don't have 7. I only have 3. But I mean, if I had 7, I'd be happy with the 7 I had.
Right. And I don't have any grandkids, but I want them, but that's not in the cards for my son. He's not ready for that. I am, but he's not ready for that. So yeah, I don't know, but just real quick, going back to Paul's story, just having 19 kids, you think of so many things. You think of the personal stuff. You think of, what if all the kids in the family were sick at the same time? You think of who takes the shower first, who, how did you take baths, how did you eat every night? It really does. In that household, I truly would believe the saying, it takes a village. I believe in that household, it truly would take a village too. And they're everybody's is okay. And I think that I did read where his mom had she had the 21 kids, and they were natural, but there were no issues. No kids were sick. There were no birth defects. There was nothing. It was 21 natural, normal, healthy kids.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. And to think about it, I'm a guy. I love sports, right? And I know you love sports too, so I know you'll
Yes.
understand this. Just think about the possibilities. You got 20 siblings. So if you want to go to the court and you want to run some ball, you don't have to worry about picking up
That's
nobody because
right.
you got enough brothers and sisters to run everybody in the city, probably 2 or 3 times with some subs. You got subs.
Right, exactly. She
Like
doesn't worry
like you
about
got
paying.
a like you got a full setup.
That's right. So there's no issues. I also I watched an old interview that Paul did, and one of them asked him about school and the challenges in school, and he said his challenge was that he struggled academically, but he said the great thing about it is that no one made fun of him because he had 20 other brothers and sisters that would take care of him, and he said there was no fights in school because they knew about that family. and
Oh
and you know
yeah.
and
That's a built-in game.
that's
They coming
right,
with
that's
it. It's
right,
it's way too many of them.
that's right. So
Yeah.
you know we're gonna move on to what's coming up on our next show, but before we do that, I know that we spoke with Michael Bishop for a while, so I don't know if there's something else you kind of want to go back to. I know that we were both kind of had some hot topics going on, but
Well, no, not really. It's a question I had for Mike, but I'll save it because yeah, LeBron won, LeBron and the Lakers won the
one.
championship, a few days ago, and LeBron and the Lakers, what I'm saying, are considered to be, the champions of the bubble. And people
Mhm,
are talking about it, and people are talking about LeBron's greatness, but
mhm.
they're also talking down on Michael Jordan's greatness.
Right.
That is one of the hot topics right now, and people are comparing the greatness of two players from two different eras at two
Mhm.
different positions. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I know Mike is an athlete and he's
Mhm.
played at the highest level. And I'm going to ask him that question when we have him on
Mhm.
the show to see what his outlook is on the GOAT
They
conversation.
go, yeah, yeah, of course. So, um, all right. So this is such a weird segue because I don't even know if it is a segue because we're going to talk about next week's show, and very, very interesting. So, I'm really curious about it. We're going to talk to a gentleman who had a porn addiction. And so here's my thing about porn. I don't care who you are, you've watched porn. People say they have not, but I know you have. But here's my
Hmm.
thing. I don't understand the addiction. I don't. That's why I'm so glad he's going to be on the show because I since I can remember, I have always been involved in stuff, always been busy. So I can't imagine carving time out my day, my entire day, to watch porn so much that I become addicted. I just can't do it. I
But
can't
you know
imagine
what?
that.
What I've heard when it comes to things like that, porn or anything people can become addicted to, it's a personality trait, and it's also like you have people who have an addictive personality, right?
Hmm.
Who are kind of like OCD-ish, I guess we could say that. So if you have a habit of doing, anything repetitively, porn can fall into that lane. So if it's something that, activates, that chemical, in your brain to say, you know what, I like this feeling, you're gonna keep doing it. I mean, I don't understand how people become an alcoholic because I don't like to drink like that. But that doesn't
Right.
mean that, that person who drinks, doesn't enjoy that, and they sometimes they enjoy it a little too much, a little too
Right.
often. So, you know,
But it's so when you're addicted to something, it affects your entire life. So,
mhm,
just imagine going to work every day, and this particular addiction is porn. I'm like, so what do you do? Do you go watch porn in the bathroom? Do you jack off all the time? I don't know.
they
I
do,
don't know
they do.
what
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know that addiction, but I guess I could sort of liken it to I'm extremely addicted to business. It's almost like I don't want to have a conversation unless it's about business. However, I can have a different conversation, but I
It's the
love
same.
business.
It's the
You
same.
know?
You don't want to have a conversation unless it's about some sex. So
That
I mean,
is so okay. So I guess that begs a different question. If you're addicted to porn, are you also addicted to sex? Is it, or
mm,
is it just watching porn? What is it? Is it just the act? It's like, you know.
that's that's a great question. We gotta
So
ask that.
yeah, I'm definitely going to ask that because it's like I just and I cannot. It's I don't. It's not a. Is it considered a strange addiction, or is it? I mean,
I'm
an
I
addiction to
I
porn?
I don't call anything anybody does strange because I'm pretty sure we all got some stuff we do that people would deem strange. So
Right,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna say it's just, behavior that I choose not to partake in, but I'm
Mhm,
interested to find out what his outlook is and why he, fell into that addiction. So
mhm.
that's gonna be
Well,
interesting.
it's going to be very, 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 very interesting. So, well, every week I thought that we would end each show with a positive quote. And
Mhm.
so this quote comes from Succession. And it's a lion sits patiently waiting for the perfect moment to seize today's goal. It is a commitment, it is an unrelenting pursuit of your goals. It will enable you to achieve greatness. Ordinary is not an option. Everyone wants it, but are you willing to hunt for it? Remember, you can watch KUTC live right here on Facebook. If you missed the show, you can click on the link on our Facebook page or visit blacklineentertainment.com. Until next time,
We're gonna keep up the conversation.
that's right.
Peace.
Follow Keeping Up the Conversation on Facebook at KUTC Live.